kulila muzambe tatwatalalwa kwenkondo namuli fyonse fye twapitamo tatulaba one Zambia, one nation kumvumuleza
my Zambia, my identity, ifi of your love, ifi of your love. My Zambia, my identity, ifi of your love, ifi of your love.
Very good evening to all our listeners. Welcome to the Voice of the Apostles. This is Prophetess Trish, your host, and we would like to apologize to all our viewers for coming up late. Technical problems, but we have managed to sort it out. So I know there have been people who've been waiting and trying to see what's the delay. Please, we would like to apologize, but if you are there and you're connecting with us right now, kindly just share the link with everybody who's watching. That's YouTube Gets of Glory. We are live and you can tell everybody to just join us. And as we start the conversation, please, you are free to comment and ask questions, and we will be able to answer those questions after the end of the program. And again, I would like to apologize for the delay of the program. As I said, it's due to the technicalities. I am excited this evening because we have yet another exciting episode where we are featuring the aspiring mayors. We've been running. We started with Wilson Kango. We built up on Thursday. We had John Scagliati. And this Monday, we are readily excited to have another aspiring mayor, or this is no other than Kapembwa Bwalya, or is it Bwalya Kapembwa? Which one is which?
I think we should say Bwalya Kapembwa. That's if we start with the name and
with the name.
yes,
So
yes,
it,
then the surname.
and then the surname. So it's Bwalya Kapembwa.
Exactly.
A very good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
Sorry for coming late. I do apologize. I know your viewers were anxiously, what's happening? What's happening?
Yes,
It's technicalities, but I'm so glad to have you on this program. We're excited. We are ready to hear what you have to offload for us. Thank you for coming through the Voice of the Apostles.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. We're running a program called Think, Pray, and Board. And you are standing as the aspiring mayor. Now, we always do this as a quick introduction. We will want to know who Bwalya Kapembwa is. By that, I mean your age, your religion, your marital status, your background, education, just a little bit of that before we get into the whole reason why we are here. People who are out there, some people know you, some people see you on posters, they have no idea who you are. So this is an opportunity for you to just give us a quick introduction on who you are, then we can get into the nitty and gritties.
All right. Like you had said, my name is Bwalya Kapembwa. My first name being Bwalya and my surname Kapembwa. You know, these these tribes, and it's a bit difficult to know which one is the first name and which one is the surname. So now, who's Bwalya Kapembwa? Oh, that's a very broad question.
Yeah.
Bwalya Kapembwa, I can say, is Ndola youth. Was raised in Ndola. I was actually at the St. Bonaventure Primary School. That's where I started my grade 1 from. From there, my tertiary was done from a Northern Technical College. So Bwalya Kapembwa is a youth who's got political background and engineering background. Speaking of political background, been in politics for quite a while, since time of college. Like I mentioned, I was at Northern Technical College. During my intake there, I participated in student politics. I was a union leader, and from there, moved on into my political career. Bwalya Kapembwa is not actually a very strange person. I'm actually someone who's very known.
Mm.
Uh, a young man who mixes with people everywhere you go. I mix with people in different activities,
Mm.
usually being Christian related,
Mhm.
because by religion, like you are does,
Mhm.
I'm actually a Christian.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. So usually fellowship is one thing that I do. And as we are speaking right now, I decided to go full time in politics and aspire for the position of Ndola Mayor. And here we are right now. Thank
Awesome.
you.
So you have would you say that you have enough experience when it comes to political background? How well do you know this field that you have measured into? Do you have some experiences?
Mhm.
Um, are you confident in this platform that you have engaged yourself into?
Confidence, yes. When you speak of experience, I think there's quite a lot of experience that I have. I don't know, it's not like those issues of where, hey, where you're applying for a job and they're asking for 9 years experience when you're just from college.
Hmm.
I think with politics, with me, I've been in politics, like I had mentioned, from way back. I think I'll mention 2014. 2015, I participated in the campaigns which were happening then. By then, I was under FDD with Edith Nawakwi.
Hmm.
I worked with her on provincial level. I was one of the people in charge of the Copper Belt. By then, I was still a student also, so it was more like a part-time thing we were doing. But during that period, schools had closed, so we went full-time into campaigns. So being on the provincial being on the provincial team, I had I was one of the people who were used for the the intellect part of the campaigns. I was one of the people organizing the province and making sure that everything is moving well for the party, that being FDD by then, and that was 2015. And as you are aware, during those elections, uh, PF emerged victorious. The next general election that came, we had 2016 when I was no longer with FDD. By then, I was working now with PF. I'd worked with quite a few candidates on the ground. There was Emmanuel Mlenga from Ndola Central. Then there was also Honorable Frankie Ngambi, who was in Chifubu. I was on his team. I was privileged to be on his team, to be one of the team organizers, the political organizers on his team.
Okay.
We organized the Chifubu constituency,
Mhm.
made sure that at least this time when he was studying 2016, he had to get quite a huge number and a huge following.
Mhm.
I was privileged to be one of those people behind those activities. So that's speaking of 2016. Then 2017, of course, we know what emerged victorious. And next, I had been uh, just on the ground. Politics, as you've seen, usually they are most active during the campaign period. So I've been on the background, concentrated on work-related issues, and now that 2021 came, I was like, no, I need to now come out. During my time in the background, I participated in different political activities. From PF, after I observed a few errors here and there, I couldn't stay since I felt like the ideologies I believed in weren't the same as we had started. So I moved, I went to Socialist Party, where I was welcomed by the trade members and the crew. From Socialist, I was there for quite some time. Then after that, I decided to say no. I need to just settle down with something that is working for me. I was in search of something that is going to work with me and with my vision. That's when now I sat down with the president for People's Alliance for Change. That's Antford Mayele Banda, We had quite a long discussion, and I understood his party manifesto. And I thought to say, this is something that I can actually move with. This is something I can work with. And during the same period, 2021, I decided to stand as Ndola mayor because, my vision from way back has been to see Ndola as a city be as great as a city that it has always been. So I decided to stand as a Ndola mayor and People's Alliance for Change ticket. Yes,
Awesome. So you are standing as a mirror, and the
exactly.
question then comes, what inspired you? We
Yeah.
can probably combine that
Mhm.
to why you are standing. But
Exactly.
for you to just get up and say, I want to be a mayor, I'm thinking there must have been something that must have pushed you to. So what drove you to want to stand for the mayor? And what's the reason behind you wanting to be the mayor?
Okay, so I think what I can say is the reason, the drive behind all this, it should be the goals I have in life and the love I have for the city of Ndola. So when I speak of goals, I see myself as a politician, not just now, but a politician now, being a youth, and for the future. Speaking of that, when you speak of the future, definitely someone needs to start somewhere. With the background I've just laid down for you, definitely you would see that there's enough experience in terms of the political world.
Mm.
So, having all that, it was now my conviction to say that it's high time that we forgot about these leaders who've always been coming in power, promising us silver and gold, and when once on the seat, they tend to like abandon us. So I decided to say it's high time. I mean, we can't just be vying behind the politicians, as we call them, the elderly ones. It's high time for us also youth to go into the game and take up the mantle, because we have something that we want to give to the people. And that something that we want to give to the people is exactly what I believe in and what I want to deliver. So how do I deliver if I don't go into the game? That was one of my inspirations to say I need to be in this and I need to deliver. I need to sort out problems the people are actually facing. When you speak of Ndola, for instance, you've got many areas, even after 56 years of independence, you're speaking of giving them water, which is sad, but that's the sad truth that's on the ground. So me seeing that and knowing that politicians out there don't take a keen interest in sorting out those problems. The reason why I stood up and said that no, it's high time I come in as a youth and just take up this mantle and bring in change.
Awesome. You are watching the Voice of the Apostles under the program Think, Pray, and Vote. Every one of you who are watching, make sure that you are commenting and sending questions, and we will be able to respond to those questions once we are done with the interview with Bwalya Kapembwa. I'm very excited, and he's already given us the introduction and everything. Go ahead, please share that link, share it, share it, share it, and make sure you're commenting. We'll handle all those questions after the end of the program. Honorable Bwalya, what are your plans if you went through and people chose you and said, this is the man of the hour, let's put him in office? What are some of the things that we should expect for you to do in the city of Ndola? I mean, I know there are many plans, but I would like you to give the people who are listening out there the 5 things that you know you are very sure and you're able to do them with your word attached to it.
All right. So I think speaking of plans, I'll attach that to my manifesto. This is why now we're speaking of modernizing in dollar. I'm looking at the dollar we have right now and the state it's in. You would definitely agree with me that this is not the same dollar that we have always known. This is the same. This is not the same dollar that we used to call a friendly city. What I'm saying is that we are going to, once I'm voted in, I'm going to make sure that modernizing actually takes place. When we say modernizing, we are calling this a city. What makes it a city? Once you are in a city, you definitely need to expect areas, residential areas, to definitely have things like street lightings, to have good roads. You need to carry out good road maintenance like that to keep the roads safe for people. You need to look into the sanitary issues. There are people, like, for example, in Ndeke. I'll speak of people in Ndeke. People of Ndeke have actually suffered. Let's speak of Ndeke overspill. Ndeke overspill, they've had no water from time immemorial. Look at this. We are now 56 years after independence, and people in Ndeke still don't have sewer lines, still don't have water. What I'm saying is we are going to make it modern and simple. Okay. People there need to have access to clean drinking water. Last time I was there, it was so surprising and shocking that such an area near industries could actually be facing such an issue. Then also, there's an issue and aspect of joblessness. A lot of youth are not employed out there. So what I'm saying is, under my manifesto, I'm going to make sure that we empower and employ youth of this great city. So what we are going to do is this. The question might arise: how are you going to employ youth? How are you going to provide jobs for them? Well, this is not something that is out of the book. What we are going to do is, once I'm voted in, we are going to embrace youth skill training centers. Training centers are actually there for a reason, but definitely in my reign as mayor, I would definitely make sure that we look at it and make it a basic thing. You see, every young person out there need to be trained. It doesn't matter the level of education they've actually gone. People are actually on the streets roaming around. Youths are on the street drinking. So what I'm saying is that we are going to gather them. We are going to encourage each one of them to take programs that are going to be put up through the help of my office. Youth technical skills. We need to train them in simple technical skills. There are issues of look at where we're doing the interview from. This desk was definitely made by a carpenter. Such skills can be taught to the youth out there. We're speaking of fabrication, metal fabrication, and all those things. You don't need someone who's actually, you know, who's got 6 points and is a grade 12 to do those things. We need to actually touch a broad, wide range. And once you train those youth out there, it's now important to look into empowering them. Once you group them, what I'm saying is, once I'm voted in as a Ndola mayor, I'm going to make sure that I advocate for cooperatives. All those people who are trained in those fields, we are going to make sure that they are empowered and be able to sell the products that they are making under the same cooperatives. Therefore, in that area, we are going to make sure that youth are empowered. Then there's also another aspect under reduction of joblessness, unemployment. There's this point and this issue. When you go just outside, you will find that there are a lot of small companies put up by Chinese. These companies are definitely making things like blocks, bricks, all these things. They're making small furnitures here and there. What I'm saying is, once I am ushered into office, I'm going to make sure that such vices are specifically kept for the youth. Like, look at this. How do we maintain that? Look, I'm talking about maintaining roads. Okay, how do you maintain roads? These are small contracts you can usher out, you can give out to people to come and work with the council. You see that under engineering department, you also involve other youth. That way you employ the youth. So what I'm saying is, instead of seeking for outside companies, seeking for foreigners, what I'm saying is, what I'm going to do is make sure that we first of all empower the locals. Okay. Once you let that young man out there, young woman, to make that block and prevent the Chinese from coming all the way from China to come and make a block, you empower them. Once you give them money, give them funding to buy that cement, you actually empower them. What I'm saying is, we now need to stop allocating contracts to foreigners. There are a lot of simple contracts which can easily be done by Zambians, but we prefer going outside. Definitely, there's an issue of cheap labor and these other things, but that's not the case. We just need to make this a norm, something normal for us as Zambians, and that's what we are going to grow. This also will send a message to other cities, also not just from Ndola. Then there's another issue of making sure that I improve revenue collection. How do I improve revenue collection in the council? You see, revenue collection is actually something that is very big and very important for the council. Revenue collection makes the council run, is what actually runs the council. The three departments, which is health, engineering, and accounts, all of them depend on revenue that is collected by the council. There are a lot of revenue collection centers around the city, which the council benefits from. But right now, I wouldn't even love to call it benefiting from, because the council doesn't actually benefit. So you'd ask me a question to say, what's the problem? Well, the problem is simple. You see, once these people, the mayors, previous mayors we've had, once they were ushered in office, there was one thing that wasn't looked into. You see, there's an issue of cadarism out there. So what I'm saying is, once I'm voted in, I'll make sure I get rid of cadres in all revenue collection centers. When you go by the bus stations there, definitely you would agree with me. You find cadres they are collecting revenue. Where does that revenue go to? It doesn't go to the council. No, that's a lie. They pocket that money, meaning that at the end of the month, that council worker won't see his salary. At the end of that council worker's career, once they retire, they won't have that pension money. The reason is simple. The same cadres are pocketing millions of kwacha going into people's pockets, or in the name of this is our party, ni party Yesui. Those things now should come to an end. What I'm saying is, once I'm voted in as Bwalya Kapembwa Ndola mayor for the great city of Ndola, what I'm going to do is make sure that cadres are got rid of. We are going to make sure that we remove cadres from our revenue collection points, and put professionals who are going to do that. But again, you might ask me a question to say, how are you going to make sure that cadres are out there? It's actually simple.
I'm gonna have to let you pause a little. We're going to take a little break. Remember, we are live on the Voice of Apostles, and please continue to send those questions. Continue to also send your comments, because we'll be able to read them back. But we are going to take a short break, and we will be right back. I know Honorable is ready and he's geared. We will be right back. Thank you.
Kulila muza katwatalalwa kwenkondo namulifyonse fye twapitamo tatulaba one Zambia, one nation kumvumulesa
My Zambia, my identity, if of your love, if of your love. My Zambia, my identity, if of your love, if of your love.
We are back yet again on the Voice of the Apostles, and we are live with Bwalya Kapembwa, standing on the ticket of the mayoral for the People Alliance
For
Change. That's right. And he's been showing us the plans that he has for the city of Ndola if he was chosen as a mayor. And I'm going to just try and bring you a little bit back when we are talking about, the issue of joblessness.
Exactly.
And one of the things you really highlighted on were the issue of skills and training people. Now, statistics have shown that there are more people who have been trained and have going to colleges and universities, but are lacking jobs. So I don't really think at this moment where we are now, skill is an issue. What really is an issue, I think, is the idea of employment and jobs. When you look at the people who have been to school, and are still just in the streets, it's not that they want to be in the streets, but they can't find a job.
Exactly.
So I was wondering if there's a way in which you can zero in the issue of employment, because I'm in the streets. I see a lot of educated people who are either working for something less than they are worth because they have to earn a living. But then some of them are not even just doing any job at all because they can't find it. So the issue of employment, how do we tackle that?
All right. So like I had said earlier, I was focusing mainly on skill training so that people can have a skill to make something. What was I heading to? So here's the thing. The whole system has been destroyed. It's a corrupt system. It's a system that has corrupted our mindset. What a Zambian child is told when just from nursery is that, you see, there even these career talks they do in schools is what that umwananga pass a grade 12. What do you want to be when you grow up? And they will tell you, I want to be an engineer, I want to be, of course, I'm an engineer, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I want to be a doctor, I want to be what? And once that is done, out there, jobs are not there. I mean, let's take, for instance, Zesco, an electricity producing company and supplying company. Do you think they would employ all the engineers out there? No, 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 that's not possible. We've got Ndola Teaching Hospital here. The nurses who are graduating are a lot, but they can't employ all of them, which is exactly what you're alluding here. So what I'm saying is this: we need to promote entrepreneurship. So these people, definitely, you mentioned something like someone out there is working for a job and they're getting very little, while they went to the University of Zambia, trained in something. So look at this. If that person, I'm not saying those people do not think straight. No, 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 no. What I'm saying is this: we need to encourage people out there to focus more on entrepreneurship. And how do we start? Do we just start telling them and not do something? It starts with us. Me, if I'm voted into office as a Ndola mayor, it to start with me. I need to bring about programs that are going to make sure that they encourage the environment they bring about an environment for entrepreneurship. You can't start a business when there's no market. What I'm saying is that we are going to make it marketable. Look at this. Someone who gets a skill and sits at home is as bad as someone who has nothing. Okay. But someone who gets a skill and puts it into practice, those are the people we're saying that will be self-employed like that. So how do you encourage them? It's simple. As a council, there's the issue of revenue, like I was talking about. So once everything is in effect and is effectively working, what I'm saying is that those people need to be grouped together with the help of counselors. This is where also counselors come in. I'm not saying that I work in isolation. People out there have got counselors. By the way, for Chifubu constituency, I have a counselor who's standing under Kawama. His name is George. So I wanted to mention him. He's a very bright young man. George out there, I believe, is going to do it. People should vote for him. So speaking of counselors, I'm going to work with them, make sure that their youth in the communities actually have something to do, actually are doing something in terms of entrepreneurship. So let's speak of countries, for example, who are doing it better. We'll speak of Nigeria. Nigeria, a lot of people there are actually doing businesses, okay? Different businesses. A business can buy from another business. You see that? That's how you even grow the country GDP. That's how it works. So what I'm talking about is not the formal employment the government has to offer. Definitely, they will tell you to say we employ 10,000 people, we employ 2,000. Out of that 10,000, they will manage to employ only 1,000. What does the 9,000 go to? And speaking of a community, there are a lot of students, school leavers out there. And another point I want to raise, like you had said, that a lot of people have graduated, which is actually a plus also for the plan I have for the Ndola for Ndola district. Why I'm saying it's a plus is this. You see, if you have people who've graduated from colleges like Northern Technical College, those people have graduated there as engineers and with a skill. that skill set is definitely something we can also use out there. Who's going to train the people to do the carpentry jobs and everything? It's the same people who are trained from such facilities. The people who are trained from Northern Technical College definitely spent a lot of money there. They invested a lot in there, and they come out with a good skill. And it's that skill we are going to use to turn a lot of people into fabricators, turn them into good welders. That's how it starts and that's how it goes. So we are going to use the skill that's already available on the market. Thank you.
Awesome. So that just tackled the issue of employment.
Exactly.
And you were in a process of talking about the other plans that you have. And I know you've talked about modernizing Ndola,
yes.
and by that you want to put street lights, road maintenance,
Yes.
sanitation and water, and then you tackled now the issue of employment.
Yes.
And then revenue collection. Are there
Exactly.
any other points you'd like to zero in? Remember, we are revealing your plan, the agenda that you have for the city of Ndola as you voted into power. What should people look forward to see Honorable Bwalya Kapembwa doing when he sits in that office?
All right. I'm going to mention something that is in my manifesto. So, one of the duties of the mayor is to encourage citizen engagement. It just comes like that. Encourage citizen engagement. So definitely, what are we talking about? So citizens have a duty to their city also. Okay, and it's the duty of a mayor to encourage them, make sure that they are able to carry out their duties. So what I'm saying is, once I'm voted in as mayor for the city of Ndola, I am going to make sure that not only do I work with the councillors out there, I also work with the rest of the citizens. Okay, there are plans which we are going to lay down, plans which are already laid out there, where we are going to make sure that we work with citizens, all the citizens of Ndola. This is why now we're saying that a citizen, uikala, for example, mu Chifubu, Monati, okay, there's a dump site here and this place needs to be cleaned. But some of them don't actually wait for their councillors. Some of them will just group up and clear that place. And such citizens, what do you do for them? What I'm saying is that under my administration, I'm going to encourage awarding of small awards to such citizens, to just keep encourage them to take part in making Ndola a better place. That's my fifth, and I should say one of the main things I want to work on. That's part of my manifesto. Yes.
If you have some more, you can still list them out.
All right. So the other thing is the issue of working with councillors out there, which I also mentioned, but I would like to outline it now. I believe councillors are the ones who are closest to the people. Councillors need to be encouraged to identify problems for each and every area they come from, and the problems they have there. This is where now I also chipped in and thought of it to say, once I'm in office, how do I get to work with the people on the ground? How do I work with? When I say the people, I mean groups like, for example, the churches. How does the mayor in office get in touch with the church? What's happening right now is that during these campaigns, this is when now you are seeing politicians going into church. No, you've got a building here. We are going to bring cement. Those things are only done during campaigns. You see, once that is done now, they disappear. And the church remains looking lost. And because the church is supposed to be peaceful, like that. They won't do that. They will just sit and wait for the next campaign, of course, which we thank God, the church has always been faithful. And Zambia being a Christian nation, leaders out there need to make sure that they do not exploit it. So what I'm saying is that even after going through, I am going to work with these councillors on the ground, make sure that they involve churches in the development of the city. Why am I saying that churches also need to be involved? Look at this, crime rates have actually gone up. Bushe Uryomwana was committed the crime. where did that crime start from? That crime actually started from home, because they say charity begins where? Charity begins at home. So what I'm saying is, Kunganda, that child comes from a home that is connected to a church. Definitely, if churches are encouraged to work with those people, bring about small projects, small ideas that will definitely link with the council, that's something that is going to make sure that Uliomoaena will definitely be kept busy. That child won't go out drinking and smoking. I'm a youth also. Starting from Monday to Friday, ndanefika to Saturday, for those who are not SDA, umuntu nchibebe befye pasando ruchero basamba bari ku church mairo again Monday nikubwarwa. What is causing all that? You see, it's lack of having things to do. This is also where I'm saying that now we need to look at the recreation facilities. Ndola, I don't know if in Ndola right now we can boast of a play park for our children. It's important for them to have a mind that is active, not to mwanadifie on TV. Usual vices. What I'm saying is, we are going to revamp all areas which were once play parks. We are going to create new areas also that are going to be used for the purpose of recreation. Make sure that all the playing fields which are there will be upgraded, will be boosted, so that the youth out there can go out and have fun and have something to do. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes.
So you have spoken about some of the things that you have planned for the city of Ndola, and
Yes.
I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, we've heard all this stuff
Mhm.
before. My question how differently from the other people who've gone ahead of us. I know people can say so much,
Mhm.
and you know, you go like, oh, okay, but how different will your approach be from the I'm sure by now you've studied how the systems are running, you've been able to identify what is wrong, and now you are coming up with a plan to say this is what I want to do. So with all this that you have listed out, how
Mhm.
different are you going to, do you plan to be in your vision and upgrading Dola for what it really is supposed to be?
All right. So, like you've said, what I'm talking about, a lot of people talk about the same
Mm-hmm,
things, and
mm-hmm,
they've preached before, and
mm-hmm,
we voted for them, and
mm-hmm,
things didn't, there was no difference.
mm,
Uh, I'll jot down, a mayor is like a counselor, but on a larger level.
mm,
So what I'm going to say is this, just out there, it all starts from the people, not actually the candidate who's campaigning, or the candidate voted for who sit on that seat as an
mm,
dollar mayor. It
mm,
starts from the people. People need to actually look and visualize. So let me tell you something, what's been happening, the tradition of politics in Zambia. Here's this, I'll pick a random career, for example, a teacher,
mm,
okay?
mm,
Headmaster retired, after retired. After retiring now, then someone goes out and says that now that I've retired, I think I'll now go into politics. Masango omuntu bayimirirana n'okwimira no counselor, retired. After that, what does that person do? Kwamba fe kushama plots. Like, what I'm pointing at is actually age. Okay, age matters. Let's say I'm voted in on the 12th August, okay, 2021, as in Dollar Mayor. With my age, being a youth like this, okay, and my political journey is just starting. Once I'm voted in there, I sit, and I fail to perform. Don't you think my conscience would definitely hold me there to say this is the end of my political career? Definitely it will be the end, because no one will want to vote for someone who failed. So for me, with my age and where I am right now, I'm not retiring. I'm not coming into this because I've retired or going to rest. No, actually, I'm here to work. I have come to work. I've come to make sure that I change the lives of the people. So that's an aspect of age also really matters. The other thing is loyalty. There seems to be this issue called loyalty out there by the people we vote for. You see, someone belongs to this huge big party, having all these people coming to their offices. No, we voted for you to vote. Each and every one of them will need a favor. By that person is realizing niche 5 years has already passed. They were busy giving favors to people. This is why you're finding that after that 5 years, most of these leaders are going straight to court because they have a lot of issues to sort out. They have a lot of land issues to clear out. So what I'm saying is that I don't owe anyone loyalty. If they are listening there, they should know that I don't owe anyone loyalty. Okay. I am here to work for people. I owe the Zambian people loyalty. I owe Ndola residents loyalty. If you are a Ndola resident, you vote me as Ndola mayor, I owe you. I owe to work for you, not an individual. I don't owe individuals. Which also brings us to the third point why it doesn't work, which is Kadarism. The same loyalty the people who are voted in actually owe a lot to cadres. The cadres, it's more like more voted mu office mudia. That person becomes a puppet. Vambo kumubomfia as a puppet mu office mudia. Because ama cadres, when they look, you can't go anywhere right now without the involvement of cadres. Tamwashte land. You can't tell me that you can buy land without ukurisha mona. It will be a chain. And by the time you are going to have that title deed, it will be a process, a long process. And usanga tira in a title deed nganda mkwete. But it actually went through the council. So what I'm saying is, it's all about getting rid of cadres, the issue of not having loyalty to an individual, but to the city. And of course, us as youth, we are here. I am here telling you to say, I'm energetic and I'm going to work for the city so that my political career can progress and Ndola City at large can progress. Thank you.
Awesome. So we've had this question that I always ask every aspiring mayor who's been trying to get into office, because it has been a thorn in the flesh when it comes to the Ndola people, which is the issue of land which you tackled.
Exactly.
And I really would love it if you kind of just cleared that issue if you were into power. And I always give the same example because this is the crisis that we have. We have we have four people owning the same land.
Exactly.
Having claimed to have paid and having had the receipts. When you come into office as a mayor, how are you going to sort out that issue of land? Because that has been a fight. It has been a battle. First of all, have you been able to identify where the problem is coming from?
Yes.
And if you have, what is the solution to that as you get into office?
All right. First of all, thank you very much for bringing up that issue, because I think that's the most sensitive issue at hand right now for the previous mayors and also aspiring candidates. So when you speak of land, I'll have to take you a little bit back to my party manifesto. Under People's Alliance for Change, there's what we've broken down the manifesto into jobs, land, and empowerment. So when you speak of land, what we are saying is that every person, every individual, every Zambian shouldn't just be identified to be Zambian because just by an NRC. They should have access to land. What do I mean by access to land? Land should be easily accessible for them. So what I'm saying is that we need to make this an equal environment. Okay, we shouldn't be allocating land to people because someone has more money than the other. That way, definitely, people are going to be deprived of land and they will not have the opportunities. So what we're saying as PAC is that every individual will have an opportunity and land will be made affordable. Those people who've got examples, 10 acres of land, 1 acre. What we're saying is that once in power, we're going to make sure that we do land audit, and those acres which are not being used shall be released to people and be available for sale. So what I'm saying on the,
not to cut you short, Honorable, don't you think that's going to create a bit of a problem? I bought a land.
Exactly.
And I have 20 hectares somewhere. And I am going to plan. I just don't have the capacity to develop that land.
Exactly.
And then you come and carry out an audit and then you are saying this land is too big for you. There's someone who doesn't have land. You might as well, share that land. Do you see that even happening, or that may just create a bit of a problem because I bought that land for all I care, that I haven't, used it to the maximum. I could give a reason. We're talking dollars here. I mean, the dollar has gone to a level that Shima is more priority than developing that land. I have to take care of my. I mean, they'll give a lot of reasons for them, and who in do you see giving up the land that they bought in the name of bringing equality to the person who doesn't have?
Okay, which is why in my explanation I use the word land audit. So in audit, a lot of things come out. It's either you lose something or you keep it. So what's happening here is this: working with the government, when you do land audit, and you've come out with great points. Like, for example, you're saying you don't have capacity to develop the land here and there. So definitely, the government here can't come and chase you from your land. What we are saying is this: the land should never remain dormant. Okay, if land can be used, it's going to be used. Definitely, this is why now after the audit, and if you are found to be clean, the easiest that can be done is that working hand in hand with you to also help you on that same land you are on, okay, to develop it. Once we develop it, other people also should benefit, and the development should definitely be for the city. The development should be a program for the city. There's another issue which you had spoken about, where people are issued land. Like, for example, one piece of land is issued to 3 or 4 people. That issue all starts from the area where I talked about loyalty to individuals. These individuals are what we are now calling in Zambia as cadres. Definitely, cadres, the word cadre isn't supposed to mean something bad. But here in Zambia, when we say cadres, we're talking about these individuals who use their strength and powers to go in offices, favor sender things by power. So what I'm saying is these cadres, actually, what has actually happened is they infiltrated the system. Once a cadre goes, there's an area. I'll give an example. In Pamozi, first station, there's those shops which are being built para Pantanj. Those shops were not officially handed, those plots were not officially handed in to those people by the council. But yes, I sang that the council at the end of the day had to agree with whoever was given those areas without the consent of those people. Because look at this, you're talking about land valuation, property valuation. Before there was a shop, that land was considered, that house was considered to have a certain price. Let's say, for example, man, that Inganda is worth 10,000 kwacha. Why? My kind of reason, because according to the city plan, it's near the road, and a house that is near the road is more valuable than any other house. You see that? Because road and everything, there's a third road, that land would definitely have a high value. Let's put it, for example, at 10,000 kwacha. Once in Boba definitely that value now automatically goes down. You see, you are now depriving that person. Where did those people get that permission to build those plots there? This is where it comes in now. The same cadres we are talking about. Abantua, by the just government area, they give themselves plots. Elo number, they go to the council and say that we want that area. But council, because they don't have money, Tashisa, already Toshanda, the cadres are collecting revenue that side. Because they don't have money, they will now agree with them to change the city plan, whereby now they will sell those land and say, fine, give us money and we will let those lands be. So send the land because different people are detached in the monies that were being given out. But they become unprivileged. So what I'm saying is we are going to get rid of all the cadres that are out there. We are going to make sure that the system, first of all, is effective. So someone can't collect revenue unless they are in the system and authorized to do that. That's one thing. Secondly, all land, you see, Ndola has a perfect plan, has a good plan. The entire land there has to be put in the database. How do you put land in a database? It's simple. There's technology now. This is where I was saying that my point and my goal is to modernize Ndola on, like, in a lot of aspects. I am going to make sure that we modernize, even in the technicality, how things are carried out, how revenue is collected. when land is being given, data has to be entered for that land. Definitely when you do that, you prevent two people from buying the same land. Because what's going to happen is once I'm voted in, we are going to do a sensitization to the citizens, okay? How the process of buying land. That's not it. And once you buy land, demand for a title, demand for papers. How are those papers going to be generated? In a perfect system, one simple system, to prevent all these issues. It's sad that these things have actually happened on the ground and people are suffering. But what I'm saying and giving hope to all those people out there who are suffering is that once I'm voted in, I'm going to make sure that every person is brought to book. Every person involved is brought to book, and people are compensated and well looked after. Thank you.
Awesome. You're watching the Voice of the Apostles under the program Think, Pray, and Vote, and we have Honorable Bwalya Kapembwa in the house. Now, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to speak to the people, no interruption. The people are listening out there. I want you to just sell yourself, and please remember, you can, during the time that Honorable is talking, you are free to write, because immediately after that we get into questions and comments that have been coming in, so that we handle this in a very tactful way. So you are talking to a person who is listening to you right now, and you want to sell yourself in the next 5 to 7 minutes. Push it and take it just to a notch higher. Let whoever is listening get the drive why they should put you in that office, why you should be the mayor, why are you different from the others, why should I stand up and say lelo na I am kuvotela Bwalya because Bwalya this. So you've got exactly 7 minutes to convince the whole world out there for them to punch come the 12th of August that inyapa ichfantilo chalaya pali Bwalya. Go right ahead, sir.
All right. My brothers and sisters out there, fathers and mothers, you see, Ndola is a great city. Ndola once used to be a friendly city, as they used to call it, but right now, I would positively and confidently say it's no longer the same as it used to be. What I'm saying as Bwalya Kapembwa, what I'm saying is that my plans are to bring it back to the way it was and perfect it, make it better. It's possible. It can be done. Of course, people can say it can't be done until it is done. And definitely they will come to me and say, he has finally done it. You're saying it. How am I going to do it? Simple. I'll summarize this. What I'm saying is we are going to make sure that we modernize the district. Okay? Ndola town is a town that deserves the technology that is out there. When you speak of street lighting, connections and everything, there's what's the simple technology of solar systems. So we are going to make sure that we put up street lighting. All of my friends, what I'm saying is street lighting should be there. Already, the problem we usually is if ma pause and everything, pause are all over. Yale na ma pause yabako yalia kukakakira kofeka street light kaka no kwaka. Making sure that it's above the ground so that no one can reach them. The other thing under modernizing in Ndola, what I'm saying is I am going to make sure that we now work on sanitation. Just looking at me right now, it should be an encouragement to the youth out there. Looking at me, my age, and the person sitting here speaking like this to you, it's an encouragement to you that you can do it. You can do a lot, actually. You can go places, you can go far. You need to sit there, think, and be encouraged. This is why I'm saying that once you look into what I'm saying, definitely you're going to find sense in it. If you are inspired by what I'm doing and what I do, definitely you're going to know that age is not a limit and it's not a barrier. Definitely being young doesn't mean that tete muchinje opomwikala. Even with my age, I'm saying that I am going to work in Opobathirwa. How am I going to do it? Parape ne pada pakutola sanitation padia. impia balefirwa, money never reaches the people. There's what you call CDF. That CDF doesn't reach people. Why? Because a lot of people, a lot of the system is actually corrupt. What I'm saying is, once I'm in there, I will not owe loyalty to an individual person. My loyalty is with you, listeners. My loyalty is with you, Ndola residents who are going to vote for me. Meaning that sanitation will be a thing of the past. Sanitation problems will be a thing of the past. People in Kaniki, people in Minsundu who have clean drinking water. Definitely, there are things like we can speak of revenue. Of course, revenue will always be a challenge, but there are organizations out there the council can work with to think about boreholes and quite a number of things. What I'm saying is that I'll be actively involved and on the ground for the people to do all those things. The other thing is revenue collection. How do we now make sure that the council who have that revenue, what I'm saying to you listeners is that you need to trust me with your vote, because I am going to get rid of the cadres who have given us so much headache. Our parents out there are crying because they don't have that piece of land they had bought. They thought they had bought a piece of land. Wrong piece. Yeah, what I'm saying is, once we get rid of those cadres, that thing will no longer exist. Which is why I'm saying that the most important thing in revenue collection is having proper accountability. The accounts department will rise, will wake up, and make sure that there are competent people in there. Abantu babamo Shiranda Tinganaba voted into as mayor for Ndola district, and they am kutanthia abantu amachito iyo. What I'm saying is, we are cleaning the system. All right. Padapa kweba tapa about punda pa kudia today isala. Nga mwavotera Bwalya Kapembwa mwafya chipara ponsa pa about pundo po bevida tukaya isadika. Pantu liao ino afyamba uliao inekada ulia tule mufumiamo takabe mu system. Then to the councillors out there. Councillors, you are busy, you are campaigning on the ground, you are promising, making promises, you are promising people this and that. What I'm saying is, mwebantu bakwale sanga mwamvotela ine. Ama promises vale mieba ine, I'll make sure that they are implemented. Why I'm saying they will be implemented is this: my manifesto is actually working on the basic needs of the people. The basic needs are, of course, shelter, land, and of course food. How do I provide food for the people mayandanga bapera shani fya kulia? Simple, by making sure that ulia youth ulia na abafyashi barabashkwete nchito to abachita provide environment where they can easily have something to do, an entrepreneurship set up where they can easily make ends meet to buy that bread for the daughter, for the son in the morning to go to school. I am quiet. Thank you very much.
Well, that was Honorable Bwalya Kapembwa in the House sending his manifesto on why he's standing on the standing as a mirror. And I think right away we will be able to get into questions. Are there any questions? There are no questions. Okay. So I would like, are there any questions? No. Any comments? No. Okay. Come again? Okay. Right. So there is a comment coming from Sally Kalava, and Sally is saying it is true. We need change. Thank you very much. That was Sally coming through, echoing that we do need change. And, Stanley was following, hasn't made any comments. Thank you so much, Stanley. We appreciate. And we have Chilu Sharita was watching. Okay. Please, for all those people who are watching, feel free to comment. But I think we didn't have. Looks like you've done a good job at convincing
Yes,
people.
yes.
They don't even have any questions at all.
Right.
What can I say? Well, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you on the show. And for all those of you who are listening, remember this is Honorable Bwalya Kapembwa, who is standing on the mirror for the Ndola City. And we are hoping that on the 12th of August, you can be able to think, pray, and vote towards the right person you would want to be there to help you and service your concluding remarks, sir.
All right. I would just like to encourage people to go out in large numbers to go and vote on the 12th August. Like I had said, I'll just go through it once again. My name is Bwalya Kapembwa, aspiring candidate for Ndola Mayor. Under the PAC ticket, People's Alliance for Change. That's what PAC stands for. My president is Anford Maelebanda, saying you go out in large numbers and vote for President Anford Maelebanda. Is a young visionary person who's got brilliant ideas, energetic and intelligent. You, the people out there, definitely have seen and you know the candidates who are going to deliver. What I'm saying is that go out there, vote according to how you're judging. And above that, I'm once again going to ask for a vote. Vote for me for Ndola City. Vote for Bwalya Kapembwa for Ndola Mayor. And you'll see change. Definitely, I'm promising you, once I'm voted in, the moment I'm voted in, the change the environment will change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This has been the voice of the apostles, and I believe that tomorrow we are back again with another aspiring. This time we are pushing it to the MPs. We will not tell you who, but we definitely have one scheduled up tomorrow for the parliamentarians who will be in the House. So make sure you are watching. Make sure you're ready for those questions, and we will come through definitely at the same time. This has been Prophetess Trish, the Voice of Nations. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and have a blessed evening. Thank you.
Kulila muzanga tatwatalalwa kwenkondo namulifyonse fye twapita